Namaskar. Okay, the next variation we're going to work on is modifications for cobra, which really a lot of you know anyway. But let's summarize. Some of the students don't know these modifications, so it might be good to go over them anyway. And it might be good food for thought, maybe something in your classes that you want to show your students, especially the ones who have wrist problems. I'm going to move out of the way again, and what I'm going to do is have Marie do cobra. Now, we'll take a look at this, and obviously some people, they put a lot of pressure on their wrists, certain types of cobras. So instead of going into, say, something like an upward dog or something like that, which is going to put a lot of pressure on the wrists, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to Marie, bring your hands up off the floor. Okay, this really tells you a lot about where a person's, there shouldn't be any hand pressure anyway, really, in cobra. So this tells you a lot about her back. Now go ahead and try to bring your back up as high as you can. Okay, this is her natural limit for cobra. When I push with my wrists, I make it worse. Go ahead, bring your hands down and have extremely light pressure. All the rules of alignment still come into play. We pull the elbows in. I could get over Marie's back and straddle, and from here, for example, I could keep the elbows in, and what I do here is start to draw up and see where she can go. And do you feel much pressure to the floor?
No.
Okay. So for right now, we're good, and I probably wouldn't go much beyond this. Okay, I'm going to move out of the way. Now, as I said, upward dog, not a good idea, because there's so much wrist pressure there. But instead, if you wanted, depending on somebody's lower back, you could go to sphinx. Go ahead. So there's different variations of sphinx. I just make sure, I'm going to move your elbow forward a little bit on this side, and I'm going to crawl around here and look on the other side. Okay, and so we just make sure that under the shoulder is the elbow. We're looking at a lot of other things. If somebody's got some really serious problems in their lower back, you really have to, this is one of those things where this might not be good for them. So you've done the cobra, you've done the sphinx. Obviously there are a lot of prone exercises, asanas that you could do. So we're going to relax. Okay, and have a seat. What's going on here is, when we think about wrist problems and someone has a pre-existing injury to their wrist, their doctor or a healer or an acupuncturist or whatnot has told them to get out of our class because we're not modifying. And if we're not modifying, I can understand. Some people refuse to modify anything. Some people refuse to modify any type of class. If your class is a slow restorative class, I'm not picking on restorative, I teach it myself. But if your class is at a slower pace and you're holding postures for a while, it's a lot easier for me to run around and modify things or have privates with students to tell them what they're going to do. On the other hand, if I'm teaching a power yoga class, some type of vinyasa, and those of you who are out there who are Ashtanga instructors know that the pace of your class isn't going to fly with all these modifications. I understand that. My point is that a student who has wrist problems is just like a student who is pregnant. They belong in a certain type of class. So if you're a teacher, point your student toward that type of class, even if it's privates with you. That's another option. If you're a student and you can't find one teacher in town that will modify any postures for you, the best thing to do is find somebody who will teach you privately, learn what you can, and practice at home. There's no harm in watching our videos. We try to be as therapeutic as possible, and we don't want anyone hurt. But I want you to understand that private instruction is just like what I would tell anybody who's a yoga teacher. Always watch other teachers and learn from other teachers. This is a lifetime journey. We learn what we can and we advance forward. I want to wish you all farewell and have a nice week. Om Shanti.